From my team, there won't be many people present, I believe. I'm just looking at the participant list. Ricardo, do you know if Dimitri is joining?
Dimitri
Dimitri
here.
is here. Yes.
Wow, one of my participant lists shows different names than the other. Okay, sorry. That's weird. Okay, I think we can actually start. We have to go to another meeting anyways. So, welcome everyone on today's Metal3 Community meeting. Today is the 28th of January 2026. My name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. We usually start with introductions. I think one new participant in the meeting, Leonard. If you would like to introduce yourself, now is the time, but it's not mandatory.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Leonard, but you can call me Leo. I'm a software engineer at Mistral AI, and I'm currently working on deploying several bare metal Kubernetes clusters for GPU AI training. And I'm very interested in contributing to Metal3.
That sounds awesome. Welcome to the community. Did you have experience or do you have experience with Metal3, or are you a new adopter?
So I have general experience with Cluster API since I've built several projects with it at my previous company. And we've been experimenting with Metal3 for, I guess, 5 months at Mistral. And now we are mostly interested in helping the effort to support ARM64 nodes. So yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, welcome again. If I see correctly, there are no other participants who are new. Yep. I think then we can continue. So reminders. The meeting is recorded. If anyone would like to help the project, then please look for good first issues or issues with the help wanted label. Or if you are an experienced member of the community, please create such issues so that others can contribute. If anyone feels like that your organization would be okay to publicly acknowledge the adoption of Metal3, then you can help the project by pushing a pull request into the community repository and editing the adopters.md file and adding your own organization as one of the adopters to the list. And that would greatly help us to gauge the level of adoption and know who is participating in our community. If anyone is experiencing test failures on the pull requests or on the periodic jobs, and you think it's not related to your changes, then please file a issue in the affected related repository and link that issue to the Metal3 CI tracker. And then if anyone is interested about any other statistics or deliverables or the periodic jobs or the merge queue or the documentation, check out these links or check the main GitHub organization page. And just for you, Leo, I always say these things at the beginning of the meeting so that we have it on each of the recordings, so folks who stumble into our project know more or less that what resources we have around. Okay, I think then we can continue with the community working groups. Is there anyone who has any topics for the scalability ARM AI or the artifact working group or related to these working groups?
So nothing new, no new breakthroughs for scalability, but I have finished the design proposal for Ironic to using async IO in sensor data collection. So it's not the most interesting thing for this community, but still, that's my focus. So that does pave the way for using asynchronous code in Ironic, which is nice for future improvements. If anyone is interested, I can give you the link. I forgot to paste it here, but I'll do it in a few minutes.
Yep, that's fine. Sounds good. Feel free to paste it here, and no need to rush. Yeah, from my side, there is also no news. I was last year mainly concerned with the artifact group, and there is now some improvement on the connection between Artifactory and the CI. We had multiple people working on it with the Open Infra Europe maintainers to make it work better, and now we have caches everywhere, and that made it a little bit better. But behind the scenes, there is still a lot of work ongoing. But yeah, that's about the artifacts. And I've seen work related to the ARM. I think I can copy this one also to this. I know Serhi is not technically part of that working group, but he's doing some good improvements, and we will talk about that soon.
We don't have really technically members, I believe. So now he is. Congratulations.
Yeah. That's true. If you do anything related to any of these, you are a member. Okay, so that's it for the like specific topics. Then we can continue with the release team and the roadmap. And now we have had even patch releases for the 1.12 and 0.12. And there are also CapM3 V1 Beta 2 changes getting merged, but nothing major at the moment on the Kubernetes side of things. But there have been some interesting interesting issues and discussions on the ironic image, and I think Ricardo, you could talk about that.
Yeah. So the yeah, just as I mentioned there in the notes, last week we had the bug fix branches cut for the Ironic projects, Ironic and Ironic Python agent. So when we were actually getting ready to decide about the release, we found a little issue with microdNF. Actually, the issue is on libDNF. The parser inside libDNF doesn't really support, so it kind of ignore some types of GPG keys, SH1 and V6. But for some reason, probably because in the CentOS image that we were using, which is now fixed, by the way, the GPG keys, the SHA1 were kind of malformed or something like that. So the parser was erroring out and microdNF was segfaulting. So I verified, like talking with some people downstream. I actually tried to contact the maintainer of microdNF, but I didn't get any answer yet. But talking with other people, I can say that there is no problem whatsoever in excluding the malformed GPG keys. Luckily, we don't have to do that because, again, a new CentOS image has been released, and it seems like that the GPG keys are working fine now.
But yeah, let's see if I hope the maintainer will answer. He is actually a red Hatter, so I expect to have some answers at some point. It's going to be interesting. In the future, my understanding is that micro DNF is going to be away and just be replaced by DNF5 in CentOS 10. But at the moment, we still need to we rely on micro DNF for minimal images. So there's really not a lot that we can do. Also because the development on micro DNF is kind of stalling. And on libDNF is also stalling because of the new DNF5. So yeah, the only thing that we can do in case this happen again is just exclude the offending GPG keys and just be sure that the GPG validation with the repositories happen as usual, which it should actually. Yeah, any questions or anything?
I think though that now it started working again. Actually,
Yes. As I mentioned, we have a new CentOS image released, and the malformed GPG keys are gone.
no, okay.
There's only one, which is so you can see if you try to build the image, you will see that there is a V6 key that it's still there, but it's completely ignored by the parser. So it's not segfaulting anymore. It's just not used.
Okay, I want to search for that right now.
Yeah, it should be there somewhere. Like if you look for, yeah, scroll down. I think it's like below that. There you, oh no, I can't see it.
Yep, but I don't want
Well,
to waste your time. But anyways,
yeah,
folks, you can check out the build log on the PRO and also you can try it out. And yeah, and thanks for reacting so quickly to this.
yeah. I mean, the very the important part is that the GPG validation is working. So we don't have any security issue at the moment. That's the most important part.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's fine to continue with the release preparations also. And I just wanted to mention, I put it there that it would be nice if we could include this one. This might need some CI magic because it might have some other problems, but we should get this in because, as I understand, this one is also related to quite serious bugs. Just FYI.
Yeah, I mean, it's just missing CI validation, right? Because it's approved and
yeah, one CI job, specifically this one.
all right.
Tumo even copied some logs here.
Okay.
Yeah, we will. I will check it tomorrow if I have some time, or just ping someone to check it. Yeah, but otherwise it's all good in my opinion. I reviewed this one. Okay, thank you, Ricardo, and thanks for the help on this one. And I think that's all for release team. We don't have anyone from the any other member of the release team. They are on a meeting, so I think we can continue with the regular discussion topics. And the first one is the multi-architecture for support for IRSO, and as I understand, specifically the IPA multi-architecture IPA support.
Yes, hi folks. I wanted to highlight this PR because I kind of need to understand if we're okay with it. I know Dimitri was looking at it, and after redoing all the things, I wanted to get some attention to it. It basically implements the optional way of setting up custom images, and it doesn't touch any defaults yet. And I think we should defer defaults until we have the customability options merged. So basically, it just ensures a possibility to set by arch values into environment and turn on, off, or like customize props basically. And for this to work, we also would need to have a fixed ironic image, but it's like another story. I saw your comment, Adam. I will address it. I mean, there is a clear way to do things in ironic image, not a problem. But I mean, I want to understand if we're okay with this approach. And after we merge both of this, we can come back to discussing how we want to handle defaults, like building ARM images of VIPA in general and putting them on default values. If that makes sense.
It makes total sense to me. Apologies, I was moving between cities recently, so it was more busy than ever in my life. I have this on my radar. I'll take a look.
Yeah,
Yep.
no worries.
Yeah, I took, as you mentioned, I took a look at the dynamic image part. That looked fine. It was first, it was a bit. I didn't know that this part was taking care of the of the like customization of the internal template. I didn't check this one, just that, but you clarified it, so I'm fine with that one. We just need some documentation there, but I have not checked this one yet. But from infra side, there is still like possibility to build ARM-based IPAs in the future, and as we have discussed, and there is a separate discussion thread, not issue, but like GitHub discussion thread about building different IPAs and how that will look like. One other comment related to this is there is a work ongoing to integrate not just the GitHub but also the Jenkins of the project with Oracle Cloud, and they have ARM runners. At least they offer it for GitHub. I assume they will offer it to us, or it will be available for Jenkins. So my hope is that we will have one matrix pipeline, and that can build all the different distro flavors of IP and on all the architectures. So
I'm not sure sorry, I'm not sure if project uses like plain GitHub actions and runners, but I do build on open source runners that image like ARM image and builds quite fine. So I mean, as long as the Metal Cube is open source, I think like that's also can be used just to build. I mean, not to test.
yeah. Just to build the same way as we build the. It's not here, but yeah, same way as we build like ironic images. Yeah, we can build. We have access to those like ARM runners, so we can build IP in this fashion also. But there is this discussion, and I think I have a screenshot even what I'm thinking about, where we can have one unified dashboard and everything. I don't know. No, is there screenshot or no screenshot?
By the way, Adam, that reminded me, I left a couple of comments on the discussion. Did not ping you directly, which is probably why you missed it, but please take a look.
Yep, sure. I'm just looking if I have pasted anywhere some screenshot on how that would look, but I will put it here. But the code is at least there that I worked. It's in VIP, but we will have this sort of pipeline to just slow. Like you can find the pipeline scripts, and I can also tell you which job they belong to, but we hope to connect this one also to the runners, because it's good to like build images, IP images, ironic images, other images in like via actions. But if you run very big jobs that are periodic, I'm not even sure if the community can access periodic actions for each of the projects, or how you see it. I find Jenkins a bit more easier to access for everyone and check the results of the jobs and check the pipelines and whatnot. But yeah, we can continue the discussion later. But yeah, going back to the what we were talking about, the multi-architecture support in the IRSO itself. I don't really have any comments on this. I have not reviewed this one yet.
So I can add that I've tested this one plus the patched image of Ironic and works quite nicely. But I do interested in specifically merging this first after we can solve the Ironic image issue, because like you can implement it in different ways. And I don't think like changing Ironic image is some kind of magnificent blocker in general, right? And that's just ginger.
Just a word of caution. I haven't looked into the ironic image patch, but if your IRSO patch depends on specific version of ironic image, it has to be in the code, because technically people can request ironic image 30 with your feature, and it has to be rejected cleanly if you're going to depend on specific ironic image version.
I assume there is a bug in that case in the image, because it does allow you to set by arch, right? But when I set it manually, the values are not propagated. So we should probably discuss it how we want to handle it. Either like do a version check or like fix bug retrospectively in the image itself. Because I expected it started working in recent images, but I've seen the problem in 29, I think. Before that, I don't know. I didn't check, but like it didn't work in 29 also, basically. So I can't change, like put this value. I mean, it's there, but config is not rendering those values as empty values, basically.
I see. I think the latest that IRSO currently supports is either 30 or 31. So if this work, we are fine. And of course, if we can fix all the versions that IRSO supports, we don't need any version-dependent logic.
I would prefer fixing it on the image itself, not on the operator, because it's kind of like messy to do it in operator. I mean, from operator side of view, it just like propagates invariant variables and doesn't need to know what like issues are there, basically. So it's kind of a ironic bug, I think, an image bug. I mean, so we can just like backport it into older images, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's my point. We either backport it to all supported versions, or we have to, in IRSO, we have to say things like, oh, I'm sorry, version 30 is not compatible with this feature. So and I agree with you, it's probably better to fix whatever 3 versions we care about. You can find the list in the docs or in the code. I think it's starting with 30 or 31, I forgot. I think 31, 32, 33 is the ones we support in IRSO currently.
Yeah. So I can do it. It's not a problem. Let's just get merged to master, and after that I'll backport changes. I don't think it's a huge issue in ironic image. It's kind of same across all those images. I mean the part that I change.
Yep, sounds good. Is there anyone who has some comments or questions or requests related to this multi-arch? No, then thanks for bringing this one up. And we have discussed the micro DNF issue also. That's the same. That we have up here. So we can go to the last one, and that's the conditions work from Jacob.
Yeah, that's right. This will probably be a brief one. The conditions work is an RFE that Dimitri created some time back, and I know that Pierre has been leading the effort on this. The reason why I brought this up is I literally finished doing the ironic work on health checks. So that's an ironic master, just pending docs and a small follow-up. So I thought it's good time to look at the healthy part of conditions that Dimitri proposed. So I started working on it. I thought that if there is time, it might be worth syncing in this meeting, make sure that we can work on this in parallel, or if there is preference to for me to pause this work till the main part of conditions is done. Just wanted to see what you folks think.
I honestly don't
Yeah, let's see if Pierre
know
has any
enough about
comments.
the conditions work.
I think it's more or less independent. Your condition is parallel with the 4 or 5 others. So, and I don't know if it should be very easy to merge the two contributions, and I don't think there's a question on really on the order of the merge.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I thought it's probably okay, but I thought I'll take this opportunity and ask you if I have more concerns. I'm just gonna start a thread on Slack. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna try to progress the patches, and we can probably sync when they're close to being merged ready.
Yes.
I think
Thank
Pierre's
you.
patch is really, really close. I put in my approval on that. Somebody needs to do another reviews. I think if you wait for Pierre's patch to merge, it's going to be like 2 days of wait, maybe. If people. There's one comment there that probably needs fixing right on the screen, but everything else is ready.
All right, great. That time frame works. This is not urgent. The trigger for me is because we have ironic codes merged. I just figured I'll pick up this, but yeah, a few days is fine. So I'm just gonna wait in this case.
Yeah, make sure you get support to Gopher Cloud first, because we need a release from them. So that
Okay.
can be a
That
task
can
for
start,
you.
yeah. I've got a draft of that already, so I'm gonna progress that before I worry about the Metal Cube part. That's a good idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so I think that's me. If no one has any more comments, questions, I think we can close off this topic. Thank you. Appreciate your feedback and guidance.
Thanks for bringing it up. Anyone else? Any comments, questions related to this topic? Because if not, then we can continue with the triaging. That will be the last act of the meeting today. We don't have much actually, and we can start from the bottom. Minimal CentOS image, broke kubectl CP. This is
It seems to boil down to missing tar executable, if you check the error that they're pasting. So maybe we just add the necessary package. I don't think adding tar package is going to be a significant increase to anything. No, check the error, not the line they're using.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's missing that tar. Okay, well,
Sorry, is that
Yep.
for a log container? I understood. No?
I didn't hear you well. It was breaking up for me.
Sorry. Is that for a logging container that we have in the pod, in the running pod?
No, they seem to be trying to just copy over some file and generate to the pod.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a problem with remote logging container also not having tar for some reason and can't get logs out, but I didn't do any reporting. I was not sure if it was like a known or not.
Oh, that's a good point, by the way. If you don't have tar, that means the log collection is pretty borked. Because it
Yeah.
relies on untarring files.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's not going to be visible in any CI job. So we probably need to figure out how to CI test around these logs.
It's not that big of an issue because the Jenkins ones are collecting the log from the tests, the integration tests from the containers and save the whole like all of the logs, container logs into a tar file. So we can put in a check to extract it and see if some of the logs are missing or not. Some post check. Like I don't know if you know this or use this. I don't know if ironic. Maybe show it to you just a moment. Then I will show it on this one. Like each of these have this tar file. If you go to this tar file, and there is like PR test for the ironic image, I think also, and then you will find the logs collected there, and then we can add extra check to check the content of this tar file in each job or each build, if that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, for example, yes. For example, this.
Yeah, okay, but I will accept this one. And it will be a bug because the log watch does not work based on this. But it's interesting. I didn't hear it from anyone. Probably because my downstream might be not yet using this version. But who knows? Yep. This is accepted. The next one. This one. CR doc container image doesn't support ARM64. Where are we using this one? I'm honestly not familiar with this one.
Some code generation, I think. I was doing some code generation somewhere and don't remember exactly where. Sorry, but I was doing it on ARM machine in VM and I was constantly hitting this problem.
It's generation of the API documentation from CR definitions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and also the container image is outdated, I believe, so we probably should just build the binary ourselves, like we do for container runtime and customize stuff.
Okay, I will accept it as feature request because we didn't have this done before. Support for the ARM64. Okay, then there is another fee. Annotation to re-trigger automated cleaning.
Yeah, so it's something that kind of was spawned out of discussion about cleaning and host claims. And after some more discussion, we essentially pivoted from this idea for host claims. So it's no longer related. I still consider it somewhat useful to be able to do that, but I'm also not going to work on it in any near future. So kind of, I'm fine with just put it on hold and we'll revisit it at some point. Unless Pierre, you have use case for all this.
Well, for host claims and node reuse, when we will do the KPM3 part,
Yeah, but you don't need the annotation, right? The current discussion is around using consumer ref and caching the last cleaning mode.
it's two philosophy of implementation. If you go the consumer ref way with the status, you go toward a very declarative where as soon as you ask for some kind of cleaning, you get it done and you know exactly the level of cleaning you have when you see a BMH in available state. If you go the annotation way, you've got an imperative way of doing it, and you more or less lose the knowledge of exactly the state you are, because you keep the automated cleaning, which is the current behavior, and you add in parallel this imperative feature. But you need one or the other, and I don't really mind going the annotation route, but I would be, if I do not have a full implementation either way, I can't do node reuse today with those claims. So at some point we need to really decide, otherwise our claim won't be completely equivalent to the current provider with direct bare metal host.
I don't insist on the annotation, Vader, just to be clear. It was just an idea I wanted to have written down, and that's it. If the community is okay with modifying consumer ref to include cleaning, then we can continue down this path. The only thing is where my more recent comments to you were is like I'm very, very uneasy about changing the default behavior. I'd prefer we do the thing required for host claims, I'm sorry, first. And then we have a very thorough conversation if we want to apply the same logic for changing cleaning modes without host claims just on bare metal host. Because here be dragons, and I know some people will get upset if we do this. So that's the only thing I have. Let's start. Let's ask if people are okay with defining how consumer ref looks like, and let's start with only consumer ref based logic without trying to generalize this feature or this behavior change.
Okay. Should I change your title to annotation to the trigger automated cleaning on
Let's keep
consumer app?
this. No, let's keep this as it is. It's just a proposal. Let's not accept it for now. I don't know if you have any sort of like backlog or ideas status. Something that is showing that it's not an actionable thing. It's just something we put here for it to be written down. Mm. Yeah, nothing is perfect, right?
As a side note, on the idea of using consumer ref, we may want in the future to extend it again for us claims to support, for example, red or BIOS settings that are specific to a cluster. You may want to have a configuration that is by default for all the customer, in the sense of all the people who are using those BMH. And when you take it for a given cluster, you may want to override it the time you get your BMH. And as soon as you leave, you may want to see it go back to a default setting. And this notion of defaults for infrastructure different from what it is when you have the claim is something new with multi-tenancy, in fact. But, the need did not exist before.
That is a good point. It's also a massive can of worms. Let's not try to solve this on this call, or like that's probably a level of requiring a new design proposal after we more or less progress with this one.
Yes.
Okay.
My question for the audience was like, Pierre and I are discussing extending consumer ref with a cleaning mode. Will people think it's a terrible idea for some reason, or is it just okay if we do this? I guess it's a bit sad we don't have more Ericsson people here, but maybe
Uh,
can
I
relate
think,
this.
yeah, we have not even adopted the consumer app stuff, so there is maybe one person who even looked into that in detail from our side. So
From the perspective of customizability, how that would apply in terms of a cluster? Is this like specifically a node, single node configuration, or are we like expecting this to be exploded into a group of nodes on specific cluster? Because I don't think that you actually want some nodes to be cleaned for some reason or another. Like,
So far,
should
any
this
cleaning options are per host, and we generally don't have any aggregate resources at all. So all our resources are currently per machine, for better or worse. And essentially what we are talking about, a bare metal host has automated cleaning mode. That's what operator has decided should be happening by default. We are talking about giving host claims an ability to override that for the duration of a claim, which means we can, for example, disable cleaning temporarily. But once a claim is gone, and consumer ref is either deleted or orphaned, we need potentially to rerun cleaning, because if at this point the host is already available, we don't want the data to be there, especially when we introduce secure cleaning, which we currently don't have. But even with metadata cleaning, if you don't do it, things like your reinstall and Ceph gets confused by existing partitions. They are all known problems. So we're essentially converging on the idea there is a consumer ref field on bare metal host, which is going to be a backlink to host claim. We could also copy over automated clean mode from host claim into consumer ref, not into the bare metal host, but into consumer ref. So we get two options. The option is coming for consumer per consumer, and the option per host, the global one. That's roughly the API shape we're talking about, and I'm curious if people have any problems with that.
I see one issue that can like be created afterwards. In case we implement that, somebody would want to have additional fields in consumer ref algorithm, like I don't know, image or whatever. Like, and you basically like will drag around two implementations here and there. So I don't know, maybe just like do a raw JSON there in case somebody wants to implement it, and just implement it just like that, and still keep the default way of setting it from bare metal host.
I don't think I captured the exact proposal. You're thinking just not consumer ref, but a new field on host, or
Like a generic field, like
kind of instance settings, or
raw JSON without the schema, right? And because if you start to put up two fields into places in for like having this overridden by a consumer, by a provider, I suppose, right? Somebody might want to have this like feature for image overrides or like additional fields that are in bare metal host also by the consumer. So we will end up copying a bunch of bare metal host spec into that consumer implementation. So I don't know, like maybe just directly copy everything, like include the spec of bare metal host in like in fully or like to a generic field there, because it will not make sense to add multiple times the same thing and have some discussion.
Question from my side. With cleaning, I see where this is coming from. But like if we copied more fields, like I understand with multi-tenancy and hosts being claimed, like whoever hosts the claim wouldn't be able to override any attribute in the bare metal host, right? Only some of them, like cleaning.
yeah, they don't have access to bare metal host directly. They
Yeah.
only have access to host claims, and some fields get moved from host claim into bare metal host.
And only the fields that they can override. That makes sense to me, the design you covered, Dimitri, because if we do it in the bare metal host, we'll have that violation problem that they might not need to have access to it. We would need to open it, right? And it's kind of clear delineation that they have access to the claim, but not the BMH. So I think what you propose is good, my 5 cents.
Yeah, I think we could do include whole host claim spec into bare metal host, but that is, I don't know.
No, I think we are mixing who has the right, the security part that is done by those claim, and the fact that there are some fields that have different, where there are need for having different value for different times and to have defaults. And the use of the consumer ref is only for solving this second part. We are not solving the fact that the host claim owner should not change other fields in the bare metal host. That is done by the host claim controller that separates the namespace of the BMH and the namespace of the host claim. The only thing we want to solve here is that you add a default and it is recorded somewhere so that when you give back this host claim, the default applies. And so far it's only for cleaning, but I suspect that there are a few other things besides cleaning that need it. But it's clearly not all the fields of the bare metal host spec.
I think like image would be nice there in that case if we go that way, and also ability to set annotations also.
Image doesn't have a default. Sorry, Pierre.
Why image would be a default? It's only the owner of a claim or something that is really putting something on this bare metal host that needs to define the image. So it's typically good enough that only the host claim overrides its field.
I think that, I mean, you would have a possibility of a case when you want to have customizability of images and without touching bare metal host in case of like separation between namespaces. And if we go into, I mean, if I understand the design, and if we go into an image case, it's also will explode into custom deploy plus annotation case. Like if I want to from a different namespace or have like overrides of what I'm provisioning to the bare metal host without touching the bare metal host itself.
Yeah, you're basically describing host claims as they are proposed today. So host claims essentially it's a custom resource that has a curated list of fields that can be copied over between bare metal host and, well, host claim. So that's literally like image, stuff, custom deploy. This is just copied over. The sticking point with cleaning is unlike image, cleaning has a default. And that will be similar situation with host firmware settings and host firmware components, but not with things like I don't know, image. There's no default image on the host. Image is by definition a property of the instance. Similarly, network data, user data, they're properties of the instance. They don't make any sense between instances. So it's safe to just set and unset them as host claims come and go. But with cleaning, we want to recover the default. And if the default is actually more secure, quote unquote secure, we want to rerun cleaning. That's the whole problem with this cleaning discussion. Everything else can be just copied over. Maybe everything. We'll see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there is additional issue with the CAPM3 fast track. That's a global option that we set, and if fast track is enabled, then you cannot do automated cleaning. So even that adds into it because
Sorry, what?
Yeah, there is a fast track option, and
I know that.
yeah, and that's clashing with the automated cleaning as far as I remember. Or was it clashing with automated cleaning? But there are special conditions there. I was actually extending it now in a PR with the disable power off, because that also should play a role. So what I'm saying is that we should take into consideration that CAPM3 has like a global option that is in like also relies on this cleanings, or like has an effect on them, and that's only configurable globally as an environment variable.
Yeah, let's have a separate discussion on fast track because it's news to me that it breaks something. We use only fast track in OpenShift with all operations. So if you could summarize a problem somewhere in discussion, bug, or anything, we can take a look. We can definitely change fast track per node, but we're not supposed to be doing that. So I'm curious if we face any situation we can fix properly.
Yeah, I might be remembering incorrectly, but I will CC you. I'm sure that, for example, like the disable power off was not even added to the conditions of the fast track, and it was just disabled by default, that you cannot do fast track if it's enabled or something. But I will CC you on the PR. But I just want to make sure that we take that also into consideration, because we also always use the fast track.
Yeah, Pierre, would it be possible for you to create an RFE for specifically for the cleaning part without host claims? Because I think it's worth a separate discussion and a separate patch in the end.
Okay.
Thank you. It was a pretty productive discussion of a completely unrelated bug, I need to say. I'm very happy we had it. So
Host claim is kind of nice, like the feature. I would want to also to have, because in downstream we're struggling with that right now. I mean, with the lack of feature.
yeah, we need that too.
Okay, then we have this one. I think this can be accepted. It's not really much of a big deal. It's just some separation of the tests. Okay, this is interesting. Extending events generated on edge conditions and warnings.
Yeah, so there's a topic, actually, Jacob and I have discussed it for some months already, but especially with host claims, we need to rely less on consumers be able to read logs of bare metal operate, or even less ironic. So this is kind of a to-do item for checking, maybe going through code, maybe, simulating some error conditions. Maybe Jacob and I would do that at some point for our downstream work, but generally see that at least for bare metal hosts, we generate events for pathological things, and generally we are debuggable without access to the logs. And then there is an interesting discussion, which I guess we don't have time to have, is how we relay all this information to host claims. Like if users cannot read events of bare metal hosts, what are you gonna do? But let's table it until the next meeting. Probably we don't have another hour. We actually have 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. We can end the triaging here. I think we have only this one. I don't think we checked this, yeah. So this was the last one actually. So we can discuss it separately. Okay, then that was all for today. We don't have any more time. So yep, thanks for joining, and let's meet next week same time. I think we will have some interesting topics by then also. And until then, have a nice rest of the weekend and see you then. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good
Thank you.
night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Great
Bye.
discussion. Thank you. Bye.